She had no idea that one small act of kindness would change her life forever. The rain poured heavily as Maya rushed through the dark, empty streets. Her worn-out sneakers splashed through puddles, soaking her already tired feet. The night shift at the diner had drained her completely, but she couldn't afford to miss a single day. Bills were piling up, and her little brother Aidan needed his medicine. As she turned the corner, she saw an old man sitting on the pavement, shivering under a flickering streetlight. His clothes were tattered, his hands trembling. People walked past him as if he didn't exist, avoiding eye contact, pretending he wasn't there. But Maya stopped. Without thinking twice, she pulled off her scarf and wrapped it around his frail shoulders. "Here, you need this more than me," she whispered, offering him the sandwich she had saved from the diner. The man looked at her, eyes filled with something she couldn't quite place: sadness, gratitude, or maybe something deeper. "Thank you," he murmured, his voice barely audible. Maya gave him a small smile and turned to leave, unaware that a black SUV had been parked across the street, its tinted windows concealing the figure watching her closely. The next morning, exhaustion weighed her down, but she forced herself to keep going. Life never gave her a break, and she had stopped expecting one. After dropping Aidan at school, she rushed to her second job at a local bookstore. The smell of fresh paper and coffee usually comforted her, but today something felt different. As she arranged books on the shelf, she felt a presence behind her. Turning around, she saw a tall man in a sharp navy blue suit. He looked completely out of place among the dusty bookshelves. His eyes, piercing and unreadable, locked onto hers. "Maya Reed?" he asked, his voice smooth but firm. Her heart skipped a beat. Yeah?" The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a sleek black envelope, handing it to her. "You're invited." Maya hesitated before taking it. Her fingers trembled slightly as she opened it. The elegant gold lettering inside made her breath hitch. "You are cordially invited to an exclusive event at the Grand Lux Hotel. Attendance is mandatory." Her brows furrowed. "What is this? I don't understand." The man gave a small, knowing smirk. "You will." And just like that, he turned and walked out of the store, leaving Maya standing there with a racing heart and 1,000 questions swirling in her mind. Who was he? Why was she being invited to a place meant for the wealthy elite? And most importantly, how did they know her name? Maya stood in front of the Grand Lux Hotel, her fingers gripping the invitation tightly. The building was massive, its golden lights reflecting off the marble floors through the glass doors. She had never stepped foot in a place like this. People in designer suits and shimmering gowns walked past her, without a second glance, their perfume lingering in the cool night air. She swallowed hard and forced herself to step inside. The moment she did, a waiter in a crisp white uniform approached her. "Miss Reed, this way, please." She followed him through a grand hallway lined with towering chandeliers. The further they walked, the more uneasy she felt. Something was off. This wasn't just a party. The air was thick with whispers, and every now and then she caught people glancing at her, their expressions unreadable. The waiter led her into a private lounge where a group of men in expensive suits sat around a large, polished table. In the center of them sat a man who exuded authority, his dark eyes sharp, his posture relaxed yet commanding. He looked straight at her. "Maya Reed, finally we meet," her stomach twisted. "Who are you? And why am I here?" The man leaned forward, his fingers tapping against the table. "You helped someone last night, a man on the street." Maya's breath caught in her throat. I don't understand." A small smirk played on his lips. "That wasn't just any man. That was Victor Lorne, one of the most powerful men in this city, and he wasn't homeless." Her pulse quickened. "What are you saying?" The man's eyes darkened. "I'm saying, Maya, that your life is about to change. But whether that's for better or worse depends on what you do next." Maya's fingers clenched around the armrest of the chair. The air in the room felt heavy, suffocating. "I don't understand what this has to do with me," she said, her voice sharper than she intended. The man across from her leaned back, amused. "Victor Lorne wasn't on the streets by accident. He was testing something, looking for someone, and he found you." Maya's stomach churned. Looking for what? Loyalty, the man replied, watching her reaction closely. A genuine heart. You had no reason to stop for him, yet you did. You gave him kindness when no one else would. That makes you valuable. Her pulse pounded. Valuable for what? A door behind the man opened and another figure stepped inside. This time Maya recognized him instantly, the old man from the street. Only he wasn't shivering. He wasn't frail. He stood tall, his presence radiating power. Victor Lone's lips curved into a small smile. You passed my test, Maya. Now, let's talk about your future. Maya barely had time to process his words before Victor gestured to the chair beside him. Sit, she hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to leave, but she couldn't move. Curiosity, fear, and something else, something deeper, kept her rooted to the spot. Slowly, she lowered herself into the chair. Victor studied her, his sharp gaze unwavering. Maya, I built an empire from nothing, but power doesn't come without enemies. And lately, I've had too many. She swallowed hard. What does that have to do with me? He smirked. Everything. You see, my enemies expect me to surround myself with men in suits, bodyguards who look the part. But you're unexpected. You're invisible to them. That makes you valuable. Her breath hitched. You want me to work for you? Victor leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. I want you to help me uncover a traitor. Someone close to me is selling secrets. I need fresh eyes. Someone they won't suspect. Maya's hands trembled in her lap. This was insane. She was a waitress, a bookstore clerk, not some undercover spy. She shook her head. I can't. I don't belong in your world. Victor's smile didn't waver. That's exactly why you're perfect for this. Before she could argue, the doors burst open. A man rushed inside, his face pale. Sir, there's been a breach. They know she's here. Victor's expression turned to steel. He stood up. We need to move. Now. Maya's pulse skyrocketed. Who knows I'm here? Victor met her gaze. The people who don't want you to uncover the truth. And if we don't leave now, you won't make it out of this building alive.